The shorelines of Bermuda boast brilliantly blue and seafoam green tranquil waters of the Atlantic, brimming with oceanic life and color. But these waters hold dark and dangerous secrets. The Bermuda Triangle is one of the most famed, mysterious, and treacherous regions of the Atlantic Ocean. The Bermuda Triangle has captured the curiosity and imagination of many for centuries. Hundreds of ships and planes have disappeared, leaving only theories and speculation behind. The Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, is an area roughly bounded by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean. It has been the subject of much folklore and speculation since the 1940s and 1950s, when reports of unexplained disappearances and a number of planes and ships went missing in the area without a trace. Years and decades later, some ships and planes began to surface. There are numerous theories about why this phenomena occurs, from extraterrestrial abductions to the influence of the lost continent of Atlantis. Environmental considerations could also explain the disappearances, such as oceanic pressure, disruptions in geomagnetic lines of flux, and the frequent presence of tropical storms and hurricanes and severe storms, which can cause planes and ships to crash or sink. Another theory is that the area is home to a number of dangerous underwater currents and underwater mountains that cause ships to capsize and sink. Another theory is that the Bermuda Triangle is a site of unusual and powerful electromagnetic activity, which can cause compasses and other navigation instruments to malfunction and lead to accidents. Additionally, the area is full of shallow waters that can be hazardous to ships. Over the past 50 years, 3,000 ships and 100 planes have gone missing in a mysterious phenomena that has baffled scientists and experts. One of the most famous disappearances is the USS Cyclops, which vanished without a trace in 1918. The SS Cyclops, with 309 souls on board, vanished. We'll explore the theories behind its disappearance and how it ties into the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. In 1918, this American naval vessel, carrying 10,000 tons of manganese ore, left Barbados for Baltimore on March 4th and was never heard of again. While there are several theories, including one involving a giant squid, the theory of a rogue wave could have easily caused a heavy loaded ship to snap and sink in just minutes. The disappearance of Flight 19 is also baffling. A group of Avenger torpedo bombers vanished in 1945. Per the U.S. Naval Institute's records, at 1410 hours on December 5th of 1945, a group of 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers took off from the U.S. Naval Air Station in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They were on a mission for a routine overwater navigational training flight. The flight leader in charge of the unit, dubbed Flight 19, was U.S. Naval Lieutenant Charles Carroll Taylor, who had amassed some of 2,500 flying hours in addition to the completion of combat tour in the Pacific Theater during World War II. Taylor and his crew of 13 airmen, some trainee pilots, were to execute a flight pattern. However, there was a navigation problem. The weather in the area was to be covered by the training flight appeared fairly standard that day. However, there were a few scattered showers. Visibility and wind speeds were considerable to be normal for the training exercise of that nature. The beginning of the exercise was just that, normal. Taylor and his crew made it easy to hen and chicken shoals, where bombs were dropped according to plan. sometime around 1430 hours. At 1500 hours, a recording shows that one of the student pilots in the flight requested was permitted to drop his plane's last bomb. Flight 19 turned and began to make its way toward the second leg of its exercise, and things took a turn for the strange. A radio message was intercepted from the flight around 1600 hours, recording a conversation likely between Taylor and the pilot of one of the other planes. On the recording, one of the student pilots was asked by a crewman for a compass reading, to which the pilot replied, "I don't know where we are. We must have gotten lost after the last turn." On the same recording, Lieutenant Taylor can be heard saying, "Both my compasses are out, and I am trying to find Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm over land, but it's broken. I'm sure I'm in the Keys, but I don't know how far down, and I don't know how to get to Fort Lauderdale." Soon after, one of the planes in the flight called in NAS Fort Lauderdale to report that they were lost. Operators at the NAS tried many suggestions, from switching radio frequencies to the search and rescue frequency, to employing Taylor to turn off his YG, which is his IFF transmitter, so that his location could be triangulated. For whatever reason, these attempts were ignored by Taylor and the other pilots of Flight 19. In one of these recordings, a member of the flight can be heard exclaiming, "Head west, damn it!" Taylor ordered the flight east. By this time, weather conditions in the area had deteriorated, and the sun had set. A handful of land-based radio stations were able to triangulate Flight 19's position. Despite this knowledge, the flight's location was not adequately reported to the Naval Air Traffic Control personnel of NAS Fort Lauderdale. At 1820 hours, the last message from Flight 19 was received. In this recording, Taylor was heard saying, "All planes close up tight. We'll have to ditch this unless landfall. When the first plane drops below 10 gallons, we're all going down together." All 14 airmen involved in Flight 19 were never seen or heard from again. But these 14 men wouldn't be the only men to vanish into the air in December of 1945. Knowing the plane's fuel would have run out at 2000 hours, a search of the rescue effort was launched to locate the flight and its crew around 1800 hours that evening, just before the last message was received. Surface vessels, both military and merchant, were notified of the disappearance, and 2 consolidated PBM Mariner flying boats were diverted from their original training flights to participate in a square pattern searches in an attempt to locate and trace Flight 19. One of these planes, PMB-5, Bureau number 59225, took off from NAS Banana River in Brevard County, Florida at 1927 hours, carrying a crew of 13 rescue personnel. The plane called in a routine message a few minutes later, but disappeared off the radar entirely within around 20 minutes of takeoff. That night, a merchant ship off the coast of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, reported seeing a burst of flames. Shortly before passing through an oil slick in the same vicinity, the missing PBM had dropped off the radar. It is important to note that the Bermuda Triangle is one of the world's most heavily traveled shipping lanes, and that ships and planes passing through the area are at an increased risk of encountering problems due to heavy traffic. So the statistics in the incidents in the Bermuda Triangle are not out of the ordinary. With these disappearances, people have spoken to sailors, researchers, scientists, physicists, meteorologists to uncover the secrets of the Bermuda Triangle. But there is still no concrete explanation as to why so many ships and planes have gone missing in this area. So what is the Bermuda Triangle? A vortex to an alien or interdimensional world? Or a cluster of freakish barometric pressure, treacherous tides, or much more. The mystery of the Bermuda Triangle and the unexplained disappearances associated with it has captured the imagination of people for decades. There's a little evidence to support that the idea of the Bermuda Triangle is any more dangerous than any other part of the ocean. The disappearances that have occurred in the area can often be explained by natural causes or human error. Or can they?